So excited for you to watch this video about how we prepare for Shabbat. Although at first it may come across as restrictive, but Orthodox Jewish families and others who celebrate Shabbat count down the days of the week to welcome Shabbat and celebrate this holy day. It's a time spent with families coming together and the noise of the world quiets for 25 hours. It's a time spent building relationships and strengthening bonds where God is at the forefront.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Sonya's Prep. My name is Sonya and this channel is all about my Orthodox Jewish life, where I share with you my Shabbat meal preps and holiday inspirations and general tips and tricks on managing the many things that we have on our plates. If you enjoy these types of videos, don't forget to give them a big thumbs up. This week's video is going to be all about the things that we need to have in place before Shabbat starts, because without them it will be really difficult for us to keep Shabbat. So let's roll up our sleeves and let's get prepping. Because on Shabbat, we do not use any electricity that has not been turned on previously, we have to have certain things in place, like having our hot water urn on. So what my husband usually does is he takes it, fills it up, and places it right over here on the counter and turns it on before Shabbat, like about 20 minutes, so that it has time to boil. And this way, we're able to have hot water with our teas and coffees throughout Shabbat.
If you're curious about any of the products that I'm using today in this video, like this hot water urn or my hot plate, I'll have all of the links in the description box of my video.
While he's getting the water done, I wanted to talk about the hot plate that we use. So many of you ask me questions how I heat up my food and have warm food on Shabbat, and that is through a hot plate that we turn on right before Shabbat. So everything that I put onto the hot plate has to be cooked. Nothing can be raw. So everything that you've seen me cook previously in my Shabbat preps, I place onto my hot plate, and this way we're able to enjoy them warm on Shabbat. So it's not a necessity to have foil covering the hot plate, for Sephardim at least. We just do it to ensure that our hot plate stays clean because of all the drippage and all the sauces or oil might be spilling. So I just like to put a foil sheet right over the top. One of the most surprising things that I think a lot of people don't know about it, if you're not an Orthodox Jewish person, that we are not allowed to even inadvertently turn on the lights. So our ovens, especially mine, some don't have this feature, but mine does. When I open up my oven, the lights turn on automatically, and that is a problem for us, for Orthodox Jews. We are not allowed to turn on any sort of light, even inadvertently. So we have this magnet that was actually introduced to us by the manufacturer of this oven, or the company that actually sold us this oven. This is the lever that would turn on the light. So all we do is place this right over the top of this feature, and we never have to worry about it again. So this is what I make sure that I do before Shabbat starts. Actually, I keep this on all the time, because if I need the light on, all I do is turn on that and I have my lights. So in order not to get into any trouble in the middle of Shabbat, I just have this here all the time, and if I have any night, that's what I do. Some of you may be surprised by this, but we're not allowed to squeeze any kind of water on Shabbat. So this is the normal kind of sponge that you use on a daily basis, which is very porous and absorbs water. We're not allowed to use this on Shabbat, so I make sure to change it out to something like this, which doesn't have any fabric in it that's squeezable. So I just interchange these. I put these Shabbat sponges on, and I take away the other sponges and place them away so I don't inadvertently use them. So I make sure that we have these sponges inside of their proper spots. I have one blue that's for dairy and a red one that's for meat. And I have this all ready for me before Shabbat starts, so I can wash my dishes properly on Shabbat.
So it's important that on Shabbat we're not turning on any direct light. Most refrigerators have light within them. So it's very important to go into the refrigerator, either go into the light bulb, screw it out, or you can come over to the place where the trigger is and turn these off. Now this is a refrigerator that we bought recently, and we happen to have gotten a special device, if we can show it from here. It's a GE appliance. This thing is almost like a timer. You tell it the day and the time. If you go look at the camera right here, it already knows by these candles, I don't know if the camera can see that it's Shabbat. This device costs about 200 bucks. Obviously not a sponsor for GE or anything else, but it's something that we were very excited about. It's magnetic, so it sticks to the fridge. It knows when Shabbat is, holidays, so 90 minutes before Shabbat, it turns on. The light is always on inside the fridge, so we never have to worry about turning it on and turning it off. I'll show you around what we do with the other refrigerators that we have in the garage, and what we do to keep Shabbat and make sure that we're not turning on the light.
A few of you, when I mentioned this GE attachment for the fridge, have asked me if this is only compatible with GE appliances. Do you know, Shai, if it's only for GE, or can this be bought and placed onto a different brand fridge?
I'm pretty sure you can go to any brand fridge. This has a network hole inside. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. You plug it in, and most of the new refrigerators have that port that you're able to plug it in, and it's compatible. You have to make sure that it's compatible with your fridge as well.
I guess so you would have to call and find out.
So over here, as you can see with this refrigerator, it's really our storage fridge where we come over here and whenever we need something for Shabbat, we use a very heavy duty duct tape. I tend to leave this on all the time because sometimes I'll forget to put it. We don't necessarily need light in this fridge. So I just cover this and it's there all the time, and I don't have any issues with turning on the lights.
Another thing that we make sure to have in place before Shabbat starts is pre-cut our paper towels and our toilet paper. Both of my oldest kids are in charge of this and they love doing it. And Miriam will just continue cutting until we have enough for the entire Shabbat. Yoshua will cut the toilet paper and place them in each of the bathrooms. So we just make sure to have all of that in place.
Another thing that we do right before Shabbat start is turn on our lights in our bathrooms. Sometimes you just have those little plug-in lights that we have plugging into the wall, but we have these cool devices that we just turn on Shabbat within each of the bathrooms so that we have light in the bathroom on Shabbat. I know that probably at around this point you're thinking, these are some pretty strange laws. Why are you not allowed to do these specific things like cutting, ripping, turning on the fire, turning on a light? Why are you specifically not allowed to do these things? And we are not allowed to do these specific things because all of the actions that we did while building our temple, like cutting, sewing, ripping, creating fire, all of these types of things and their extensions, we are not allowed to do them in today's day and age on Shabbat. So that is where this all stems from. There are so many intricacies and so many laws for it, and I'm just giving you a very, very big overview as to what we're not allowed to do specifically. So another thing that we're not allowed to do while we're in the kitchen, we're not allowed to rip any Reynolds wrap or plastic wrap or parchment paper. So in order to bypass these issues, I buy the pre-cut Reynolds wrap that you see here, or I have these pre-cut parchment paper sheets. The only thing that I've never found is pre-cut plastic wrap. Let me know if I'm just missing it, or if you found this somewhere. I haven't. So what I do is I just rip it before Shabbat and I make little balls of plastic wrap. So whenever I need it in my kitchen, I have it already set up for me.
So one of the other preparations that we do is that we want to make sure that we have lights that turn on in the rooms that we're going to be in during the high prime time of us hanging out. Usually it's after dinner, and we want to make sure that all the lights turn off when we're ready to go to sleep. So most of our lights are connected via a smart device, which we're very excited about. I'll show you how I do that. Some of these things are not, like I have this lamp, so I'll plug it into a timer that I have over here. I'll turn it on, and then I set all the different hours. Now there are different standard type of timers all around. We happen to have one of these. I have several others in the garage. I don't always use every single one of them because, like I said, we have these smart devices, and I'll show you in just a second.
Where can people find timers?
Any hardware store will have these timers, so I suggest you look in your local hardware store to find all different types of timers. They have different heavy-duty ones, light-duty ones. The heavy-duty ones are usually for air conditioners or for things that require more power. Plug this in here. Turn it on, make sure that the light is on. And there you go.
Awesome. So when you're doing the checks, that means you're letting it know what you've already preset in terms of turning on and turning off.
Yeah. This turns off. You can look at the living room. The light turns off.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a schedule over here. It already knows where every Friday and Saturday it'll turn on at 5 p.m. and it'll turn off at 11.
Awesome. Okay. And this is what it looks like when it's in the wall. These are the smart. Is there a specific name for this?
They're called Fight, F-I-E-T. I bought them on Amazon. I'm sure my wife will include a link of them in the description box below.
Okay, awesome.
I then go around to some of the bedrooms, especially the guest rooms, and make sure that I put in a Shabbos lamp. This is what it basically looks like. It is a lamp that's plugged in, and it has a two compartment device. And we turn it on right before Shabbat starts, and we place this over the top. But whenever we actually need light in our room, or a guest needs light in our room, all they have to do is lift this portion up, which is not considered muktzah, which is, I guess, an object that we're not allowed to use on Shabbat, like pens or cars or things of that sort. So this is what I go around the house and make sure that it is turned on so that we're able to have some light in our bedroom.
Another thing that we need to make sure that is preset before Shabbat starts is either the heating system or the air conditioning system. So my husband would preset the heat or the air conditioning in the summer months, make sure that the temperature is regulated properly, that it turns on and off at the appropriate times, because we are not allowed to obviously use that or adjust that on Shabbat itself.
So lighting candles is something that the woman of the household usually does. Some way for the husband to be able to participate in the wonderful mitzvah that we have to light candles is that I prepare the candles every single week. We usually have long tapered ones. We ran out of them, so we're using these small tea lights, but they work as well. Some families light with oil, which is great. We do that sometimes as well. When Shabbat is so short, we sometimes don't have so much time to be able to prepare, so these tea lights come in very handy. Either way, it's time to go to synagogue. I'm going to take the kids with me. Shabbat Shalom from our family to yours. Great.
As my husband leaves to shul, the kids and I gather around the candles to light them. All the necessary preparations have been made, and you can feel the calmness enveloping the entire house. I wave my hands over the candle flames 3 times in a symbolic way of ushering in the Holy Shabbat into my home. I close my eyes and pray for the well-being of my family and anything that my heart desires, like a daughter talking to her Father in heaven, God. I was gifted a specific prayer that is said after candle lighting, and I say that as well. I can't explain it into words, but something truly magical happens when I light the Shabbat candles. It's like a sigh of relief where the entire world gets shut out and a tremendous feeling of tranquility envelops me. I hope that this video helped you understand the magical Shabbat experience and how we prepare for it. And if you enjoyed it, I hope you would give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Happy prepping and have an amazing Shabbat from my family to yours.